I don't plan on making a lot of videos like this of me coming on here and talking, but I didn't want my first video to just jump straight into like my cruise that's coming up, and I have another trip planned at the end of February. I just didn't like, I wanted to kind of do an introduction before like just posting all this content so you guys could kind of understand like why I'm going on this trip and why this is happening. So I started this channel. I've been thinking about starting this channel for a long time because it seems like Instagram and TikTok and places like that, like they want you to post videos, yeah, but they want it to be like all chopped and like really short clips. Like you see all the time on Instagram, people are posting, oh, if you post a 7-second reel, that's gonna blow up. And like, I can't always fit everything I want to in 7 seconds. So I'm gonna make this YouTube channel about longer videos that I want, like documented, like I can look back on them because they're really taking up storage in my phone. I'm trying to pull up, can't see all of it. I'm pulling up the facts so that I don't get this wrong, because if I get this wrong, I'm gonna restart the entire video. 19 days! The good part, the trips. Okay, the beginning of February will be my first cruise ever, so I'm terrified, but it's gonna be a Disney cruise. It's on the Wish. I think that kind of makes me more nervous that it's like the newer cruise ship, because I'm like, oh, well, what if something, it's all in my head. But 19 days. So plans for that. Okay, so the 6th of February we'll board the ship in Port Canaveral. The second day on the cruise is a day at sea. So like I booked reservations. I booked reservations for Palo Steakhouse, because I know it's always been Palo, but on the Wish it's now Palo Steakhouse. So we'll be there. The 3rd day is when we go to the Bahamas, and the 4th day is when we go to Castaway Cay. I always want to call it Castaway Cay because that's how it's spelled, but that's not how you pronounce it. And that 5th day is when we leave the ship. So that's my trip for the beginning of February. Now, okay, my disclaimer would be that I would say that if it were my choice, I'd move the dates, but it is my choice and I'm not moving the dates. So, the thing is I basically have 2 trips in February, and like, could I move the 2nd trip to a couple months later? Yeah. Am I going to? No. So my mother's birthday is February 24th. And also my grandparents live in Florida, and we've always been super close to my grandparents. So basically I planned a trip for my mom and I to go to Disney World I did it after her birthday so that she could still spend, because I have 2 little sisters and my stepdad. I know she would want to she'd want to spend her actual birthday there with them still. So I kind of did it like a couple days after her birthday. But here's the plan right now, because the plan for this one keeps changing. And that's what happens when you plan a trip with your mother. Kidding. My plan was to take her to Florida, take her to Disney World, and then take her to see my grandparents, because they live in Arcadia, which is like an hour or so near Orlando. So, plan was to check in on Sunday, February 26th. Monday would be a park day, Tuesday would be a park day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I've got like those 5 weekdays as park days. Saturday, That's like a chill day, like Disney Springs / resort / whatever day. Kind of pack up and then leave Sunday morning. So it's really like a Sunday to Sunday. The plans kind of change like back and forth because my mom and I are both servers. So if you've ever worked in like food or even just as a server, like the schedules are really like, they're easy to manipulate because people are always trying to pick up shifts and stuff like that. So if my mom and I can get some people to pick up maybe a couple of our shifts sooner, like that Saturday, Friday before we leave, then we just leave sooner and spend more time with grandma and grandpa. But it really just depends. So I did post on Instagram for you guys to ask any questions you have, and I'll just cover them in this first video since it's kind of like it's really just like an intro to the channel. And what I plan on doing with the channel. So I'll just go over a couple of the questions because I don't really want to make it like all about me. I just want to like have somewhere to post my longer videos. One of them was my first Disney memory or parks or film. Honestly, we always watched Disney movies growing up, so I can't even remember that. So I would say like, so my first trip to Disney was when I was like 3 or 4. So it was like 2003, 2004, something like that. I had planned another trip when I was in the 2nd grade. I don't even know how old I was, but I remember it being 2nd grade because I remember the teacher I had to talk to when I like left for vacation. So those were like the only 2 trips I really had growing up. So kind of weird because a lot of people, like, it's instilled in their family that they've always went to Disney like once a year or twice a year and stuff like that. My family only really went like twice until I was like 19. So I have a cousin who did the Disney College program. She went through, graduated, did all that. She loved it, had a ton of fun. And one day she had just told me, hey, she just like told me I should try and apply because what's the worst that can happen? I was like, okay, sounds too good to be true. So whatever, I went ahead. I think through the Disney College program interview process, I was positive that I wouldn't make it through. So like once I made it through the online interview, I thought for sure, oh, I'm not gonna make it through the phone interview, but I'll try it anyways. Like I thought each step of the way that something would stop me and it was just not gonna happen, but that never did happen. And I ended up getting accepted into the college program and moved to Florida and had like the best time ever. I feel like today you hear so many negative things about the Disney College program, and honestly, I will always say that it's what you make of it, because like, of course you're gonna come across mean people. It's Disney World, and some people have saved their entire life to go to this place once, and like any minor inconvenience is obviously gonna upset them. Some days you're just a name tag, like that's it. You can't, it's really what you make of it. So I had made like the best friends. I loved my roommates. I had a ton of fun in the Disney College program, and I would spend a lot of time going to the parks by myself. And I would bring my camera, my Nikon camera, and I'd go and take pictures, and like, it was just so much fun. My family had booked a trip to come see me while I was working, and so I spent a lot of time in the parks, like taking pictures of menus and like trying to like basically plan my family's trip. This is like my first experience like trying to plan a bunch of stuff at Disney World. It's hard to plan a bunch of stuff at Disney World when you live there, so planning it for my family was the first I got to really do that. And then of course the trip was planned for spring break of 2020, so obviously that didn't happen. My program ended, and yeah, the whole pandemic starting just gave like everyone in my family like that much more of a push to want to go to Disney World, because our trip was canceled. Like you had already planned everything you want to do and everything you wanted to see and ride, so it really just made everyone like, okay, when everything opens back up and everything's safe again, we'll find a way to go. So my dad and stepmom and sister and I went in January 2021 when we were wearing masks, and that was, I mean, a lot of people complained about having to wear the mask all the time, but it was not that bad. Like, you were at Disney World, they found a way for it to be open and safer. And then my dad, stepmom, sister, and I went again in January, February-ish 2022. I definitely go to Disney more now than when I was younger. So, but that's okay. I'm allowed to do that. I save my money. I put it towards what I want. It's better than like being addicted to something else. I'll kind of try to put like a timeline on here or something that kind of says like when I've been to Disney World, when I've visited, because I know that helps a lot of people that watch my posts and stuff like that. Like, they understand what to expect during this time of the year versus this time of the year. So I always like to have things dated, and plus, since my channel is going to be more utilized towards like documenting my life, then it would definitely help me to have dates on here. So, other than that, if you're interested in following along for the Disney Wish Cruise or any future trips, then I'll be here.